Right now, it's a live. So we are Huang, and
And Heiko, and we are the Essence of Truth podcast.
which is all about the freedom and happiness everybody wants but do not know how to get.
And today we talk about how our modern lifestyle disrupts our flow of energy, our alignment, whether that's with our body, our mind, our emotions, where maybe we're feeling pain in our bodies because we've been working too much during the holiday season, or we feel, having brain fog or feeling overwhelmed with everything that's going on with work, with eventually maybe planning a holiday or something, with Christmas gifts, all the stuff, the obligations we are having, or simply all the stress, the emotional pain that comes from everything we go through during this time. And so we want to bring in all of this into together and give you, kind of lots of insights, tools, and ancient hacks to deal with this. And Huang, I know you're so deep into this, so why don't you go ahead?
Well, I would say because I'm a martial artist, so I practice wushu and tai chi, and I noticed that in the past there was a place when I trained. It used to be called kung fu and tai chi, and when I was doing this and not in the way that would align my body, right? I have ailments instead of actually feeling good, and so my shoulder, my knee, my hips, it hurts. And it's strange because hey, tai chi and and kung fu supposed to help you. And after I changed his place, and with the right way of practicing it, I changed school. With the right way of practicing it, everything, every one of those things disappeared. I gained so much more energy with my passion, and it's so strange. And that is how I discover. That is when I discover, oh my God. So the way that I practicing it, right, matter. The way that I use my body, the way that I move, matter. And when do the things that is not aligned, which is using my body in a in a disalignment way, it literally create elements inside of us. So that was my experience. I was so happy to be able to stay in this way, right? Because right now I train in a competitive level, and so you have to how do you call it? You have to um, I forgot the name, but you have to certain level, yeah. And when you have a certain standard, a certain level, it really changes many things, So yeah, that was my experience. Super happy about it. I'm curious about yours.
Well, to me, it was a bit different. Like for me, I used to be a baker, right? So,
Mhm,
it's a lot of hunched over work. You constantly having lifting things,
mhm,
or when you mix something with your hand, like it's a lot one-sided work. And so, at a very young age, like in my 20s already, my body was extremely misaligned. Right? My shoulders were off, my hips were off, and I started to get constant pains and problems in my back. And like I also had like scoliosis and kyphosis, like all kinds of stuff. And basically, I ended up having daily pain and just needing painkillers just to get through the day. And so I did some physiotherapy, but it didn't really work. And I did some kind of movements and exercises. I didn't really notice much doing it, and also after 6 weeks, nothing really changed. And so I didn't really know what to do. And I thought about, I always wanted to do martial arts, but my doctor said like, no, it's the worst thing you can do. The fast movement something. Don't forget about it. And so I didn't. But after a couple, like I don't know, a couple of months or so, like a friend of mine was inviting me to say, hey, there's this Wing Chun teacher coming to town, and do you want to give it a shot? And I'm like, Wing Chun, what's that? And it's like, oh, it's like this kind of martial art thing from China. It's like, oh, okay, well, let's just try it out. And so I went there, and like from the first session, I was blown away. But coming to the topic of this, it's like I noticed right away, oh, this is actually good for my body. And so I was lucky, based on what you shared, when you can have the wrong kind of teacher teaching you the wrong stuff, this one was right. And I felt immediately like how my body shifted, and I started learning Wing Chun, started doing it regularly, and I noticed not just after training, but even at work, my body was more in alignment. And with that, I was more focused mentally, which helped me at work and like outside of work. And also, I got emotionally much more balanced because with all the stress and everything going on in my life, I now had something to release it. And so it really became this huge anchor point at this point in my life where I could find body alignment. I could release the stuff out of my head. So I got more mental clarity and I got more emotional balance. And that was just the beginning at my journey. But at this point, that was tremendous. I'm so grateful that I got this invitation. And I'm so grateful that I got myself to actually doing it because this changed a lot for me. And so I'm curious, like, was this similar to you?
Yeah. Oh my God. Talking about body, mind, emotional alignment, right? When you were sharing that, you reminds me of the part about, before my journey when my mind and body was broken down, right? And even before the training of Kung Fu, these two. Um, um, I went and looking for, well, self-discovery journey. I went to self-discovery journey, and by practicing, by having this body, mind alignment, I started off with, I couldn't remember the things I read, right? To be able to remember forms, and they are, forms, they are more complex, right? And especially form the movement, and you do it in such a speed as well. And then you have the slower version, that is the Tai Chi part. But then as I doing this, the movement itself, the knowledge, they become embodied within me, right? And so the more I do it, the more focus I gain. The funny thing is that when you start using something more, right? When you start focusing more, you gain even more focus. So by doing the alignment, which is the movement of wushu, I gain more focus. More focus, and there's more emotional fulfillment as well. I didn't understand emotion. I didn't understand body connection back in the day, but as I doing that, right, it happened automatically. So it just because I follow my passion, and with more focus, with more body alignment, I become better. And that is how the journey literally goes. And it's been really really amazing. And as my body ailments started to heal, literally it was healing, and I become more flexible, right? And I become I used to be unable to do head calculation because I couldn't remember the first sentence I read on paper. Now I can do head calculation again, right? It's something that I used to be able to do in the past, and then couldn't do anymore because of the disalignment inside of body and mind. So, coming back to the story, how much effect, of the body and the mind alignments have with us. I used to suppress my emotions a lot, right? Because that's kind of how we deal it, how I learned to deal with that. And after learning with the alignment, it release, right? Release, as you were saying, right? It release all those stagnation. For me, there was stagnation, there were blockages inside of us. Now imagine, guys, in our body, right? The reason how we could function is because there are blood in that. Facts, right? What is a body that has no blood? Well, we call mummy, isn't it? A corpse, which is stolen, which is a mummy, have no blood. And so with the blood flow inside of us, they allow the nutrients, right, to be carried throughout our body, because the nutrients come from we eating foods and we breathing and we drinking, right? So all of those things combining, and they carry and they feed the other part of our body. Now, if there are certain part of our body that being blockage because we, I don't know, for example, sitting on the phone the whole day with the neck like this, and then asking why we have, oh, I don't know why, but my neck hurts, right? Or maybe we sit the whole day behind the computer, right? Maybe not with the neck, but with the with the back like this, right? Oh, the whole day, because kind of how life works these days. And then you wonder, oh my God, my back pain, right? And you just need to go to the physio, or the massage thing, or whatever it is, to fix it temporary, right? And so on. And I was the same, but then not through the neck or not through the back, but because of my way of of treating my own body. I suppressing my own emotions, right? Or I walk in a different way. And by doing this, for me, it has been a tremendous help in alignment. Of course, the way that we use our mind as well, right? But this is the physical part, which, I mean, yeah. So happy with it. I'm curious about your thoughts.
Yeah, and first off, I want to say I'm so proud of you for that you went through this journey and that you could release it, because it really sounds like you had not just this body ailments, but it was so hard to read something, to remember something, and so it didn't just help you physically, but it improved your focus, it improved your memory, and basically coming back to this emotional balance where you found something to release, which is basically what I found as well. And so, what I love about it is that, when you mentioned the body mind connection that comes with that, because I find with everything I do, but like it started with, martial arts, but then even if you do yoga, if you do weightlifting, anything really where you're in the present moment with yourself in your body, you focus on your movement, there are so many benefits that often people don't even realize with that. Where, like, when I'm there, like you said, you're improving your focus, you're releasing, you can release lots of emotions, even trauma through this stuff. And there's so much that comes with that. And then this energy flow that you described, the first time I had that was when I tried something with yoga. And because, with the work in the bakery, I felt like super stiff. I felt like I'm 80 years old and like a T-Rex, with completely misaligned shoulders and everything. And so I found this yoga thing, 15, 20 minutes, stretching, some kind of basic yoga movements. And I noticed after, it's like, oh wow, like I haven't been feeling those flexible like for months. So I did it right after again. So I finished one, I did another one right after. I did it again. It's like, whoa, it's even better than before. So I did it another time. So I did it 3 times in a row for like kind of an hour or so.
Mhm.
And after that, I really remember the thing finished. I'm standing there. It's like, wow, like it feels like a new body. And then, like, I wanna indulge in this feeling. So I just went out for a walk, just random, just going out, and it felt so good to be in this body, to just walk. And it was even though, like, when you then look around, like, and notice things in my environment that I usually haven't seen or that I haven't really allowed myself to see. And so
Yeah,
that I felt this joy, this openness. And it really comes down to what you said, when those blockages are removed, whether
yeah.
it's physical blockages, anything, like when the energy flows,
Mhm,
you
mhm.
feel it everywhere. Like it's in your body, in your mind, your emotions.
Yeah.
And it was such an amazing feeling. And I
Mm,
didn't even know that I was capable of feeling that my body could feel so amazing because
mm,
of all the work. Like I literally, all this work that I did conditioned myself to be this hunched over, kind of tight guy. And so just with 1 hour of practice, I felt completely new. And I wanted to share this because I find, especially now, we're on the holiday season, and then I've talked to so many this month where people just don't have time, just working so much, and blah, blah, blah. So I definitely want to share it because you deserve that. And just investing an hour in yourself to bring yourself in that, even if you don't understand any, I didn't back then. I didn't understand energy work and flow and none of that. I just wanted to be able to move, and so I just did that, and everything else fell into place on its own. So whether you're into energy things and emotional healing or mental clarity or not, it doesn't matter. Just do something that brings you back into alignment, and everything falls into place. Even when you're just, like, taking it away from the physical part and you're just focusing on meditations, then in turn will also have an impact on your body. So, like, literally anything you do, even if you do, emotional work, trauma release, it's all intertwined. And I've done all of these things, and I can definitely say whatever you do has such an effect beyond just the activity or this area that you're focusing on itself. That's why this is so beautiful. And I can imagine, Juan, you probably have tons of these experiences as well.
yeah. The body alignment, and by the funny thing is, because I do it for such a long time, right? And so when I'm getting into what we call the state or the flow, right, it's become natural. And of course, when we're coming out of it, we remember to do that again, right? And then we become there again. It's all about the journey itself. And I remember, when I first sharing this with people, which I totally forgotten about where and how I come here. But when we get to a certain point, we become more calm and we forget that, hey, that's not normal for some people, right? I once looking for that, just like you, right? And when I share that with people, and they feel like so calm, right? Just like I have attained that from the place of panicking, from a place of fearful, from a place of broken mind and body. So all of us, when we start doing that, we will attain that part. Feel so calm, so relaxed, right? The tension disappear, right? And they can breathe again. Hell, I even recognize for some people that I share that with, right? That don't recognize that just like I did. And when they start doing that, they're like, oh wow, I can breathe again, which is a huge, huge shift. So for many of us, right, where are our standard, right? And what are you looking for? Are you looking for more calm, right, relaxation, or are you looking maybe for something else, maybe for some excitement? They all are out there, right? It just start doing that. And when you have that alignment, you can you know, literally become what you're looking for. And in this case, become, for example, more focus, right? Or more power in what you do or in how you feel, or more calmness, right? More calmness, more serenity. And yeah, it's really is a big recommendation, I would say.
Thank you so much for sharing that and highlighting this aspect because I find it so important that you can use it for whatever direction you want to go. If you want to build up more power, if you want to go into ease and balance and peace, like it works in all kinds of directions. And the benefits are still spreading beyond the system you're working for. If you're building more physical strength, you will also develop more mental discipline, more mental stress because you're putting yourself through the pain and you stop listening to the voice. I know, let's stop here. Nah, you're going a bit further than that. So every time you're doing that, you're training your mental strength as well, which then in return helps you with your emotional balance as well, and with communication, relationships, and everything. Same as if you just go for balance and peace, it will bring you peace of mind, less overthinking, more balance in your emotions instead of just reacting to something. You're more calm, you're more thoughtful, you're responding. And so there's just so many benefits. And one thing I just want to highlight because, it's a busy time. I can already hear some people saying, like, oh, but I don't have time. I can't spend an hour on yoga. Or then I don't have wushu or martial arts here. Or I don't even want to do this stuff. One thing that helped me a lot, that doesn't even take any time, is the way I use my body at every minute of the day. Where I was looking into at some point, and I had the luck. I went to Vanuatu where I lived in the jungle with a tribe that lived like we humans did thousands of years ago, and was particularly paying attention to how do they move, how do they sit, how do they lie down, seeing their move. Because what I've noticed is they are chilling out most of the day, but they have really strong bodies. They have aligned bodies that I've never seen before. Like all this the curves and the backs that we have. They look like when you have very young children walking around and you see how their body structures. This was them and there was some like 40 years old, 70 years old. There was even a 90-year-old, straight back, perfectly physical shape, amazing. And so I was questioning myself back then. What do they do different than we do? When they don't have much, they don't have some kind of weird exercise kind of things or something to realign them again. They never got out of alignment. And so I was watching them and particularly how they did everything and tried to copy that. Now, fair to say, at the beginning, I struggled. I didn't even get into the positions they took on, but I kept on doing it. And so basically, I went down to the road of rewilding. If you want to look that up, you will find lots of movements and stuff around it. But basically, what it is, you stop instead of just sitting on the couch or lying in the bed or like on a chair all day. You're going back to old kind of movements where you're sitting on the floor and you're putting your legs into different kind of positions. There are so many different positions you can sit down, and the beauty of that is what I've realized, there's always a certain part of your body that gets automatically stretched without you actually having to do a stretching session. And there's a part that gets contracted. And so when you then just simply, as you watch a movie, you're simply going through different kinds of positions, you're stretching and strengthening your body without doing anything. You can still just enjoy the movie. And same with lying down, different positions of lying down. And first, like one thing that I did, I went away from using beds and soft mattresses and all kinds of things. I started lying on the floor, on the futon. So Japanese thing, amazing for so many reasons. But then I noticed just lying there, sleeping on it, realigned my body. The first 3 days, it kind of felt like, oh, like, a bit painful in the morning. But after the third day, I waking up, it's like, wow, I feel so much better than yesterday night because all the pressure and the movement, the positions that you're taking in is again naturally through gravitation realigning your body. So again, you don't need to spend any time to bring alignment into yourself and to have all the benefits that we talked about. You just need to go back to how we used to live, which doesn't mean you have to sit down. It's going to be uncomfortable at the beginning, but it's going to become comfortable. And you will have, I have some positions. I love being in these positions because they just feel so good right now. And even sometimes as I'm going through the day, if I'm working on something and I'm feeling misaligned, even my intuition tells me like this position is going to be perfect right now. And I'm really curious for you, Huang, because you did, all this wushu and all the other things. If you kind of have the same kind of intuition where you have this body mind connection where your body literally tells you, hey, this thing, this particular movement, this particular stretch,
Yeah.
this would be perfect right now.
Yeah, wow, thank you for sharing that. You reminds me of when I remember before I learning this, wushu and tai chi in this way, right? In this competitive way, the way I use my body is different, and with that different way of using my body, does my alignment, body alignment, is of course not in the most effective way. Right, because as we are martial artists, there must be there must be power from it. We throw a punch when we do a certain move, or else, well, it wouldn't be martial art, is it? And when you have the right teacher to share that, right, and that that they could change that for you. So then recognizing those and practicing toward that. When I'm outside of the gym, for example, right, when I'm, for example, sitting or standing or walking, what we do often, um, then our body gonna feel different. And then because we're already used to how we to how it feels for us with a place of power when we doing things, the stand, then we're able to recognize that as well when there's not enough power or the power is lessened, right? That is the cool part about experiencing things. And when that happened, I could just change it. I'm like, oh, hang on. That means my shoulder is a little bit up too much. I need to, calm down, relax. You know that when your shoulder like up like this is when you are stressed, when you are tense, right? And we do it so often that we forgot they're not supposed to be like that, right? The tension, and we just release it down, right? And relax. It's gonna feel very different. And also with our neck as well, right? When you're doing this, how does it feel for your neck, right? How about your back? And so on. Just to call a few. And when we're standing up straight, certain body body position, right, and carry ourselves, it changed tremendously for me. It's been a huge winning. Not sure if I say it right, but huge win for me to just experiencing it once, and then practicing toward that goal, that alignment. And then whenever I have less energy than I want, less alignment than I want, and then I recognize it and I change it back again, just like you. right? You're able to, oh, hang on. So, this position, you discover that too. For me, we both discovered it through, well, pain, right? I mean, like, and that's kind of funny thing. So, starting from pain and disalignment, and then we find different thing. And after we have that experience, we never want to go back, guys. We never want to go back, and it becomes so natural for us that when people, that we've forgotten that is not normal for everyone, right? That's not normal for everyone. And yeah, and when we share that with people, then, well, we recognize, oh, hang on, that's not normal. And then I remember, from who and when I was, or where I was, like, oh my god, I had so much ailment when carrying myself through so much pain. So yeah, yeah. And so those that have ailments inside of your body, right? Maybe your mind or maybe your emotions, know that just by realigning, right, your body, first and foremost, you're gonna feel different. And with that, that alignment, the energy flow inside of you are feeling different. Wow, just the term itself say itself, right? When you feel different, how will your state be, right? Will you be more happier? Will you be more stressful, right? Will you be more depressed? How, when you're depressed, how do you feel, and what happened when you can change your body in a different way? Do you know that by changing the body position, the way that we stand, we reduce that feelings like tremendously as well? You don't believe me. One of the example is the Superman stand, right? What I call the Superman stand, right? Shoulder back down, right, and chest open, and with your hand like Superman. He like, I'm the man. Look it up. Yeah, try it out. And there are many more. So there are way out of it, and you can do it.
Yeah, and thank you for highlighting that because I mean, just talking about the depressed person, how do you know somebody is depressed? What's their body like? Right? So like usually you can many emotions you can just see like how somebody's using their body. And so with that, using your body intentionally, consciously, there's just so much coming out of that. And if you have some resistance about certain things that we just covered here, then I can just tell you, even from experiences where, like, when I started sleeping on the futon, my partner at the time couldn't even think of it. Like sleeping on the floor, nah, so hard, and that's why, like, she never even tried it. But in her mind, it was so uncomfortable, she didn't even do it. And so I felt better and better. I felt amazing. I didn't even want to go into the bed anymore. And it still took, like, I think more than a year until she tried it as well. Like I said, the first 2 to 3 nights uncomfortable. After that, she fell in love with it. And
Mm.
so with all of these things, what I would just suggest, and it's basically what I did, is just try it out. I tried yoga, and it was back in the days where for men doing yoga in my environment was completely out of thing. Like it's always just about being strong and stuff like that. And so, but I tried it out, see how it worked, and it was amazing. Then I tried other things, right? I went into at some point meditation. I didn't know what it was, didn't know what to expect, but I fell in love with it. And then it went on and on and on, whether it's martial arts, whether it's rewilding, whether it's just certain structural, how you call that, structural alignment for the body. Like all of these things, out of every single thing I did, I could get back an insight and an experience that would help me. And so if you have any challenges in your body, in your mind, or with your emotions, I would definitely recommend try it out at least. I don't know. What do you say about it?
Yeah, try it out. I would say, the funny thing about things in the very beginning, they're always gonna feel different because, hey, you're not used to that. I'm not used to it. You're not used to that either, right? So none of us are until we push through that initial thing, right? Yeah, like martial arts training in the beginning. Oh man, like everything inside of me hurts. Hell, I have aches, muscle aches on places I didn't know that I have muscle on. I could barely get out of bed afterward because it's so much pain. And afterward, our body structure changes, and at least mine did. And then the next time it's not that much anymore, and I can perform at higher level, right? And so on. We push through that initial thing, and just like when I was doing the the metal detox, I think is what it's called. In the beginning, it was like, oh my god, so much work, right? I spent like so long on it, and after a couple of days, it just happened naturally, and I'm gonna feel strange when I don't do that. So so that is that is to say that in the beginning it takes some time, right? When you get through that, it become a habit, then you're gonna feel awkward not to do it. And in the end, ask yourself, right, what is important to you? Having those ailments, right, having the things that you don't want, doing something about it. And well, I would say have things that you want.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you for pointing that out. And so, I mean, we've covered a lot of different kind of things and stuff, right? But what I'm really curious about, because you guys, you've tried things as well, probably the things that we haven't even talked about, I haven't even tried in our own lives yet. So I would really love to know, what are your insights? What are your stories, your experiences that you had that brought you into balance, into alignment, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, how it is connected. And so I would really love to hear your stories about it. Or if you have any questions, then feel free to ask us your questions as well. One thing, though, I want to make sure that we take something out of this. And so today, I want to ask you first. What's your takeaway, your highlight of today that you want to take out of this?
Well, my highlight taking away. This is something I totally forgetting about it. So thank you for for sharing that, which is the bad thing, right? The laying down thing. I remember in the beginning, I before I go to the Netherlands, we didn't really have literally mattress and that stuff, so we sleep on the floor, on the bed that is literally totally flat, right? There's nothing of those. And after going to the Netherlands for some time, I had for some time like ailments of the back, right? And by recognizing and laying down like normal again, it disappeared. So you reminds me of that. Oh, hang on. Exactly. When we do that, right? When we just allow the gravity, allow the floor, allow that normal, natural way to take place, then our ailments will be healed. So thank you for that. That's definitely something to be spread. Like everybody should remember that or knowing that again. Yeah.
Very welcome. And like, it doesn't even need to be like a whole night or something. Even just 15 minutes or something feels amazing. I sometimes just take my yoga mat and just lie on the floor just because it fucking feels good. And excuse my language, but it's what it is.
It is right.
And so one thing that I want to, or like the thing that I want to take out of this is basically the one word that we both used throughout the whole session, which we didn't really necessarily actually use, but it's like doing it. You
Mm,
have to do it. Like
mm,
whatever you choose, like it
mm,
can be anything, but you have to do it. Even if you think like, oh, I need to lay down again. Yeah, okay, but I need to do it, not
mhm,
just think about it. And there were some things where you said, today with wushu and things like that. I've never had the pleasure yet to experience wushu, so this is something I want to look into. Right, just to
mhm,
getting more insights, more feedback, because any new movements, whether it's when I started with calisthenics or other things, there's always something I can take out of into my normal daily life. And when you see me moving around, even sometimes on airports or something, I'm pretty sure there's some people who think I'm crazy because I do some kind of weird movements and stretching. So maybe I'm exercising with different kinds of things. Or even if you see my sometimes I'm posting some reels or so, or my Facebook stories of the trainings that I do weird stuff. I do a lot of functional kind of movement kind of things because first of all, it's a lot of fun, but also helps me a lot with alignment, especially with my scoliosis and kyphosis going on. I just know it helps tremendously. And so, but I know because I did it. And so my takeaway and my suggestion for everyone is just doing it. Whatever it is, choose one thing, do it, go for it, and you can still change. That's the beauty of it.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, and it's so true, right? from action, by taking action, by doing it. I I mean, I believe we can keep talking forever. Literally, when we're doing it, we're doing anything. That means we open ourselves to the experience itself. And the thing in life, it's all about experiences. When we're closing ourselves off to the experience, right? Then what else is there, right, for you? And if you're in the journey of looking for things or searching for things, and you're closing up exactly for the things that you're looking for, you're missing the chance, right, to become better, to grow, to whatever you are aspiring to do. Then what exactly is happening, right? It's stopping you, and is it something that could change? By recognizing that, I I believe though I have the privilege to experience many things in my journey, right? Because I was open to it. And I remember last Sunday, last Saturday, when I was in the train, and I saw some of my old classmates, and they were still the same as back then, and I see they were very depressed. They look very like kind of the same, and I think to myself, wow, what a blessing, I have been to be able to experience. So yeah, that's last thing I want to add. Yeah,
I think this is a very important point that you said there because yes, it's a blessing, but also you went through pain to get to where you are today, right? And this is the thing. To me, that's the difference where you can either let life happen, go with the flow, see what's happening and end up wherever you end up, or you can deliberately try to change, try to be better. And it
yeah,
means stepping out of your comfort zone, getting into the uncomfortable, meeting some painful experiences, but growing through it. And
yeah,
I'm always for the point of I rather choose to rather than have to be forced to. Because
yeah,
one thing is more or less in my control, the other one I'm completely out of control. And life or business still happens. But I find when you're putting yourself deliberately, constantly, in even just the slightest situations, it's so much easier to handle it. Which
yeah,
again, staying in alignment even when challenges are coming in.
yeah, yeah. That is definitely beautiful. Stay in alignment even when challenges is happen. Yeah, yeah, I love that.
Thank you. So yeah, that's it for us for today. I hope you got a lot out of it. What I'm curious about is what are your takeaways? What are your insights that you had from this? And like I said before, what are the things you are doing? Because I'm really curious, and I want to learn more stuff. I want to try new stuff. So if you have something that we haven't talked about, bring it on. With that being said, wishing you the most amazing rest of the day and looking forward to seeing you in our next episode. Until then, remember who you are.
And remember the power of creation you possess. All right, you got this. Hooah! All right, take care, guys. See
Take
ya.
care.